Sorry, my personal assistant, a lot of times whenever if I ask her to do something and then I'm satisfied with what she does, I will say Gucci Mane. And she's like shuffling music by Gucci Mane. So she was playing music by Gucci Mane. And since I don't have the copyright to it, and some of it's a little crude, I didn't want to play in the background of my video. But so here's the sitch right now. I am not lined up very good on this, so I need to put some more stuff under my laptop still. But anyway, see if I can elevate this just a tidbit actually. My book that I've been reading to my grandson. Okay, that's a little bit better. Plus, I forgot I've got a cushion under my booty. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit, as the title indicates, about what my plans are for my channel over the next couple of weeks and what's going on with me. My car that I've had for, I got her around my birthday, February of 2007. So I've had her for 14, it was going on 14 and a half years. And she went kaput on me yesterday. I knew she was having trouble overheating. There are so many things that can cause your vehicle to overheat. A couple of those things, of course, being cracked hoses, maybe a belt that's not working quite properly, like perhaps your fan belt or perhaps an issue with the fan itself. It could be your thermostat, your water pump, a whole bunch of things. So I'm like, do I want to take my vehicle to someone and have them look over all of this stuff and try to figure out what's going on with it? And they might tell me it's one thing and then it turns out it's not that, so I need to get another thing fixed. Or do I just want to go ahead and replace my precious car that I've had for about 14 and a half years? And I decided I wanted to replace her. So I was looking into a car that I was really interested in. And then when that didn't work out, I started looking into a couple of other cars from a place in Oklahoma City. And we went there yesterday and that didn't work out either. But before we went, when I was doing my Grubhub stuff yesterday morning, I could tell she was overheating. I was like, maybe I shouldn't do the second order that I'm working on. I sat in the drive-through line for, I don't know, like I told my daughter, your typical 8 to 12 minutes at a drive-through window nowadays, during COVID. But anyway, so yeah, that caused her to overheat more. And as I was driving to the house to drop off the delivery, she overheated so much that, you know what the overflow jug is, the plastic thing that sits over to the side, usually in your car, which is the only place I have to put coolant in my car, or had. But anyway, it actually literally blew a hole in the overflow jug because it had gotten so hot. And so I was like, whoa, never seen that happen. Like, originally, when I popped the hood, I was like, I don't even see anything going on. Like, where's the steam coming from? I mean, I know I can't see my radiator cap. Like, there's no radiator cap because everything goes in through the overflow jug. And then I saw that and I was like, oh my word, I've never seen anything like this. But anyway, I sent the picture to several family members and a friend who were like, what is that? I'm like, it's my overflow jug. So yeah, it was bad. But anyway, so that's part of what's going on with me. I looked into the car I was originally wanting to replace her with, which has caught my eye several times because, hey, dude, I drive a red car and people pull out in front of me all the time, right? And this is a bright green car. And I'm like, it's pretty. I like green. That's cool, So this morning, I paid $1 for this website that claims they're as good as Carfax so that I could get the facts, the history of this vehicle. They told me they were not able to confirm the hail/flood report on it. And other than that, it was clean. There were no reports of accidents or anything like that, right? So I'm like, I don't know. You claim you're as good as Carfax. Let's find out, right? So I paid for one report from Carfax, found out that the car has actually been in 4 accidents, each resulting in minor damage. Now, minor damage can be cosmetic stuff, such as scratches, dings, it could be hail, but they were actual accidents, but I'm pretty sure that they were because one of them was to the rear of the vehicle, two, including an actual accident with another vehicle, were to the left front of the vehicle, and the other one was to the left side of the vehicle. Most of those, one of them happened when it was a lease vehicle. It has a history of 4 owners. Okay. One was with a rental company, another was with a leasing company, and 2 of them were with individuals. Okay. So the first, like the front, the rear damage, minor damage, happened when it was with the leasing company, the second owner. And one of them happened when it was with the third owner, I believe. And then when it was with the fourth owner, it gained quite a bit of mileage. So I'm like, that person must have been using it for Uber or some kind of food delivery service or something like that. And it had 2 of them, including the actual accident during that time. So I was like, I'm going to go crawl up underneath this car and look at it and make sure that the frame's not cracked or anything like that, which is always a good idea if you find out that a vehicle has been in an accident. But I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, how many accidents has my old car been in and it had no damage to the frame? Look, it's my grocery list. Anyway, so yeah. So I don't know that I am, like, it's super hot in our area, not right now at this time of day, but yeah, it's been being up in like the 90s to like 90, I should say, up to about 99 with heat indexes anywhere from 100 to 110. So they're already, summer, I think summer starts tomorrow, if I recall correctly. So, but yeah, I was like, so I know my car has been in a couple of accidents. I'm like, I want to go back and try to remember how many accidents she's been in, right? So the first accident I had with her, unfortunately, I was in an area where the speed limit was 25, close to a school, but not a school zone. The speed limit is just 25 there. And I was driving along, and a little deer ran out in front of me, and I could not avoid hitting it. Like, it rolled up over my windshield, and it was so sad. And we went back to check. Like, we had some groceries. We took our groceries home, come back to check, and there was a guy there that was wanting to claim it, and it had already died, which it was sad to see. But so yeah, that cracked my windshield, but it didn't really do any other damage to my vehicle. And then the next one on my birthday that same year, which was about a week or 2 later, I believe, I was flying doing the speed limit, which I want to say was 70, on a bypass in Arkansas, where I lived at the time, going from the bus thing where I normally caught the bus because I missed the bus. I got there a little too late, about 3 minutes too late, I think it was. So I was doing the speed limit, going 70. No, it's actually 60 in the area where I was, now that I think about it. But anyway, I was going 60, trying to get to school so I'd make it to school on time. And I'm like, well, I'm not making the stops that the transit bus does, so you should get there on time. But yeah, I was doing the speed limit and going down through there, and this deer come running across the highway, and I do well, everybody always says the reason you hit them is because you're slowing down, and I recently hit one, so I'm not going to slow down. And the poor deer had almost made it. It hit the front right side of my car, cracked the bumper on that side right there. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to have a radiator. Like, it busted my radiator. There's no way it didn't, which they have all that foam in your bumper now, luckily. But yeah, I pulled off at a hotel that was a little ways off the side of the road, and there was a guy in a pickup that was a couple of cars back from me that saw me hit the deer, who very kindly followed me and pulled off, and I popped my hood, and I'm standing there looking all bedazzled. I'm like, what the heck? And he walks over there and he says, cracked your radiator, huh? And I went, no. It didn't. Knocked my headlight sideways, cracked my bumper, but no, didn't do anything to my radiator. So, hey, and at that point, he crawled up underneath my car and looked at the frame, because he's like, that was a pretty big deer. It was a great big buck. So yeah, he crawled under and looked at it, and he's like, frame looks fine, no damage there. So it's like, yay. So yeah, that was two accidents, right? And then so I backed into a guy where I live. One day, like the way our parking is, I did not realize that there was someone parked in a spot where normally no one parked. So I backed out, and I was going a little fast because I was fixing to leave to go to work, and like hit the back of his pickup. Yeah. And so that's three. And I did have the place where I get my oil changed and my tires and stuff like that. I was like, I suppose, like, I backed into a pickup the other day. I wasn't going real fast, but I don't suppose that you guys would mind, like, do you guys look at people's frames? And the guy's like, I mean, we're going to be under there anyway, So they checked it for me, and they're like, it looks fine. And then, oh yes, I want to say my son backed into my car one day, maybe. I don't remember. There was another incident though where like it was a parking lot. Oh no, that's what it was. When I was doing food delivery and I was parked at a restaurant, and I know the damage to my back bumper, right? And I come out and I'm like, apparently somebody ran into the back of my car, didn't leave a note, didn't go in and be like, hey, whose red car is this out here? That stuff happens all the time. And I mean, it was very, very minor damage. And obviously there was already damage there. I mean, not there, but like, some damage on the bumper. So they're like, oh, no big deal. But anyway, so, and then of course, I think I have talked about it a time or two before. My son and I were going down a road, and we were at a red light. And you know how sometimes you are like, oh, the light's red, and you go to start to go, and then you realize the vehicle in front of you hasn't gone, so you have to stop real quick. That happened in front of us, and the guy who was behind the car that hadn't taken off yet didn't quite stop soon enough to avoid hitting the vehicle in front of him. So we were trying to get over into the other lane, and it's like, is there anything coming? And nope, nothing's coming, which it occurred to me later that this person who ended up hitting me might have come from behind us also. But dude, he was flying. We were in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. And when he hit us, his pickup walked up into the air and like went onto the side of my car. Like there were tire marks on the top of my bumper. That's how fast he was going, but I got faulted with the accident because I was switching lanes. And we don't know where he came from. And we told the cops that, like me and my son both, we don't know where he came from. We looked everywhere. We checked to make sure everything was clear, and there was no vehicle there. And then all of a sudden, boom, and it's like, what the heck? But anyway, so yeah, there was that one. And like, I checked that side of the frame after that. And I mean, like I said, he was going pretty fast. So I've decided that this little Mazda that I'm interested in, probably odds are does not have any damage to the frame. If I go to test drive it, well, I mean, you should always test drive a car, but I think I might look, go ahead and check to make sure that there's no damage to it. I have bad credit, so that I have found a way that I will probably be able to get the vehicle, which is good. When opportunities like that arise, like this offer was made before my other car completely quit, and before I considered the other one, I should have just went ahead and took the girl up on it, because don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right? Anyway, so I was wanting to talk, if I haven't already bored y'all to tears, and I've only got one person watching apparently, which I feel like is probably somebody from YouTube. But anyway, and then of course this will be posted on my channel in my list of videos. Not quite sure which category it will go under yet. Might do it as a new trailer, but I don't know. It's already about 14 and a half minutes long, and I haven't even talked about what I plan to do with my channel yet. So my plans for my channel, I have been wanting to do some research, and I did start doing a little bit of research on deep vein thrombosis, but the degree that I feel like I need to do the research for the medical things, if like now I'm not going to be doing hardly anything, so I will have extra time to research, and I've made myself a schedule for doing the stuff I want to do, like 7 to 9 a.m. I'm going to do YouTube stuff. Then from 9 to 11, I'm going to take some me time. And, that'll be the time when I shower, eat, maybe do some exercise, watch a little TV, watch some YouTube, stuff like that. And then 11 to 1, I'm going to do chore time. And 1 to 3, I'm going to do dog time, and so forth, et cetera, right? So anyway, so yeah, I made that schedule. And part of that YouTube time, a lot of that YouTube time, I will be spending doing research on the topics that I'm interested in doing. The first one of those that I am planning to do is, I already started, as I said, doing it on the deep vein thrombosis, but even without me having a car, that's going to take a while for me to research, because it is a medical condition. I don't want to get incorrect information and give it to people, So the first thing I'm going to research is something that one of my friends had asked me about whenever it happened. I want to say it happened here in Oklahoma, but actually maybe not. But the topic is sinkholes. What causes sinkholes, and what exactly are they? So I had told her what I had thought caused them, which I will mention whenever I do the actual video. And then I was watching an episode of Numbers, and it was the sinkhole episode, and they said it's caused by something different. So I'm like, that's something I should look into to see, what exactly does cause them, how they can be avoided. I mean, honestly, they can't, because I know they do have to do with groundwater and the water table underneath the earth, So underneath the earth, underneath the ground, you know what I mean, under the surface. But anyway, and I am going to make my rolling cop video, which I'm going to try to make a short, because it's a pretty short story, and I think it's funny. I don't know if anyone else will or not. That is going to go into the history of me category. And of course, the sinkholes one will go into my research one. And I'll be working on more research and history of me videos over the next couple of weeks, even if I do get this car and am able to, continue working. I did schedule myself to work every single day next week. Of course, and then my car went, whoop. But anyway, I was like, I need the money so I can get her fixed, because no one's going to help me get a car, which I had forgotten about my daughter's friend making this offer at that time. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yes. Anyway, yeah, but I scheduled every day. The 2 days my daughter is off, I scheduled 2 blocks. So I think I'm working like 7:30 to 8 hours, 7:30, 7.5 to 8 hours on those 2 days, possibly 7 one day and 8 the other day. I don't recall for sure. I scheduled a total of 33 hours, which I probably won't be able to work all of. But anyway, the other days I scheduled like 3 to 3.5 hours each morning, and that would allot me some time between when I when I get up in the morning, or when I had taken my son, especially when I'd taken my son to work, but actually I would have been working then. Anyway, it would allow me some time between when I finished my work, when I was supposed to pick up my son from his job and get my grandson on days that I watch him. That part of that time I could use doing research for the YouTube stuff that I want to talk about. Speaking of wanting to talk about, I just reminded myself, I made a little thing here about points, but one of these notebooks, I've got 3 different notebooks because they're all old school notebooks that had some pages left. Oh, yes, it's the right one. So, I think it is. So, I have a list of the future research that I want to do on my channel. Made a list of it so I don't forget what the things are that I want to do, right? So, I was watching something on Hulu, and they were talking about the folklore and myths of the area. It's probably like Ghost Adventures or something like that. And I went, ooh, that would be an interesting thing to research. So one of the things that I want to research is folklore and myths, probably of different areas. And then, of course, well, I say, of course, I majored in sociology. I have a Bachelor of Art degree in sociology because the school that I was going to was changing their degree program the year after I got my degree to where it would be a Bachelor of Science degree because social science is still a science. Anyway, but mine's a Bachelor of Arts in sociology. And I also studied philosophy. Okay. So I want to do some videos about sociology and philosophy. And for people that don't know a lot about them, I want to talk about what each of them is, and how they differ. An interesting thing that I found studying both of them is a lot of the people who are considered the fathers of sociology, most of them are also considered philosophers. And I didn't write it down, but I might also talk about psychology and the difference in psychology, sociology, and philosophy. Actually, I should make a note of that. Arrow. Psychology. But I can't explain it, but I've been in a really good mood the last 2 days. Once my car tore up, of course, I wasn't in a very good mood, but I've woke up in a really good mood, and I'm not a morning person, so that's just really weird. But anyway, so yeah, of course, I was wanting to research some medical conditions, and I have mentioned several times deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism, what they are, the signs of each of them, and the difference between them. So yeah, I still plan to do that. And as I said, the medical ones are going to take longer for me to do. So I might do a little bit of research on a medical condition and then do some research on something else for a while to kind of, I don't want to overdo the stuff here. One of the things I learned real quick when I went to college was that you can study too much for a test. You can work too much on a research paper. Don't overdo it. Don't overthink it. Those are things that I learned the hard way. Anyway, when you study nonstop and you're not really giving yourself a break, giving your brain time to rest and absorb what you've already learned, they can be detrimental. Trust me. So yes, multiple sclerosis. Also, I plan to do some research into ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. I plan to do it some research on cystic fibrosis. Also, of course, arthritis, the different types: osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis. Signs of those, differences, similarities, how you can tell the difference. And dementia. Dementia runs in my family, so I runs in a lot of families actually. So I want to do one on dementia, the signs of dementia, and new treatments that are out there. I read an article recently about a new treatment that I don't think it's to the point where, like, hey, you've been diagnosed with dementia, so we're going to use this treatment for you. I think it's still in the research stages of it, but it's looking promising, and it's not stem cell. Yeah, stem cell replacement, is that what it's called? I can't remember. Anyway, my memory is not the best. It has not been for quite some time, but I don't think it's dementia. I think it's just, stress and overworking myself. But anyway, and then so I also decided, because these are, of course, things that we all pretty much think we know the signs of and symptoms of, and we would know if someone was having them, but that's not always necessarily true. Maybe I should do seizures too, now that I think about that. And just like the info that I would like to do on that one probably won't take as much time as the others, because I just want to inform people how you know if someone is having a seizure and the steps to take possibly to help that person. So yeah, the other ones I was talking about, of course, are congestive heart failure, stroke, and heart attack. A lot of people don't even know that congestive heart failure exists. It's a form of heart disease, and the reason that I decided to do it on that one specifically and not necessarily other types of heart disease is because of some of the symptoms and what they are. And I feel that people who have congestive heart failure, when they're having an attack, by a lot of people, they might be stereotyped as being crazy or bonkers or like something's wrong with that person, but they don't realize that it's something physical. They're thinking it's something mental. I set my lamp off over to the side and I'm like, this one is all bright and this one's not. But anyway, but yeah, I worked at a nursing home, which is not the place that this should be happening. But one of the nurses there kept telling this lady, oh, calm down, go back to your room, stop acting that way. And I'm going like, dude, you're a nurse. I took CNA classes and learned to watch for the symptoms of certain things. And I can tell you right now what's going on with her. And I told the nurse this, and the nurse was like, oh, you're not a nurse. You didn't go to college for 6 years, 8 years, whatever it was. She said, you don't know what you're talking about. Take her back to her room. I took her back to her room, tried to calm her down, talk to her, whatnot. The other different nurse came in the next morning, right? They rushed this lady to the hospital, which luckily is like just right across the road. Found out she had congestive heart failure, and the way that she was acting when this nurse was telling her to calm down, get back to your room, behave yourself, were signs of congestive heart failure that any nurse should have known. So needlessly enough to say, that nurse was no longer at that nursing home because she did not know the signs of a serious illness that could cause a lot of people who were there to have issues and end up dying and stuff. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. I'm sorry that it turned out to be so long. I forgot, like, my points that I made are just, rolling cop short, sinkholes. We'll be working more on more research and history of me videos. But I also wanted to talk about what's going on with me and let people know I will be making more videos, at least for today and probably tomorrow. Hopefully over the next couple of weeks, even though this car thing is going to work out for me because everyone has to have a car, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't want me and my youngest son both to not have a way to earn income, and he doesn't have a driver's license. So, and we live about pretty sure it's about 4 miles, possibly more than that, from where he works. And it's so super hot that it's not like he can work. I mean, can work. He could walk in the morning, but when he gets off work, he can't walk. So, and the car place that this car is at is closed today, and I need to communicate with the person who offered to help with that. But hopefully that works out. I'm pretty sure it's going to. And I've decided, I might as well take her up on it because currently I have no car at all, and I need a car since food delivery is what I do. I had been wanting to look into a couple of other, well, actually I've applied for a couple of other jobs, but haven't heard anything yet. And work that I do outside food delivery or, my YouTube stuff would have to be basically between 7:30 in the morning and 1:30 in the afternoon, because I take him to work and he usually works at 7 in the morning, and I pick him up and he gets off at 2. And I also get my grandson on days that I'll watch him. So I need to be able to leave in time to get there and do that. So, but anyway, excuse me, I've got the burps now. Everyone have a good, whatever time of night or day it is in your part of the world. Stay safe, stay positive, and, no matter what happens, like when my car thing happened yesterday, I was real distraught and upset at first. And like, I'm not going to lie, for like at least a few hours. And then I was like, I'm going to look at the positives of this. I have more time to work on my YouTube stuff. I have more time to spend with my dogs. I have more time to spend on the games on my phone. I have more time to spend still working on getting my house cleaned up. See, I've cluttered up my chest of drawers already again. But yeah, always try to look to the positive of stuff because that'll push you to continue going on and trying to make your life better. So until next time, stay safe. Seemed like I was going to say something else. Stay positive, of course. And you will see me next time